Hello, everyone. This is Kyle Duthie, your host of the Henderson Voice podcast. We are here with another segment that brings awareness to different issues in our community or different groups, shines attention on some things that benefit everyone. I'm here today with Paula Lawrence, and she's with Boys Town, Nevada. And we'll start by having Paula just tell us who you are, what you do, and we'll go from there.
Great, Kyle. Thanks. Good morning. My name is Paula Lawrence. As you mentioned, I'm the development director at Boys Town, Nevada, which means I do the fundraising and hope to spread awareness about our organization. Boys Town has been in Southern Nevada. Gosh, we're going on our 35th year. Next year, we'll celebrate 35 years. And we are servicing boys, girls, and their families in the mental health, behavioral health space, and all things regarding that. A lot of people are familiar with Boys Town, however. Over 100 years ago, back in Omaha, Nebraska, Father Flanagan created Boys Town. And it really was just that, Kyle. It was a town where boys, orphans went, and Father Flanagan kind of had an idea that there's no such thing as a bad boy. They just need some good guidance. They need some parents. Well, this little house became a village and then literally became a town. It has its own fire department, its own police department, its own zip code.
That's something I did not know. And so does it still exist today?
It sure does. Oh my gosh. The campus in Omaha is amazing. Hospitals doing leading research and everything from epilepsy to behavioral health and mental health. 3,500 people on that campus there. But mental health and behavioral health doesn't only happen in the Midwest. In fact, sad to say, Nevada, our home, ranks dead last in resources for children in mental health resources. We hear a lot about the schools, but some of the problems with the schools are kids and families that are in there that just need a little more help than the school counselors can provide. And that's one of the areas that Boys Town steps up.
Is it still replicated the same way that it's a town in Omaha? Do you have a location here and a center here that has some of those same?
It sure was. That the way that Boys Town started out in Omaha with having these homes where boys would live, they literally had parents. They had family homes. And we had those here until 2019. And that model was working great and serving a certain amount of kids, but the need is so much greater that now we are trying to get to the children that need the help before they cause the problems that get them sent to the home. So kind of genius, right? Be a little bit more preventative in that.
And reactive, right.
Right. So working really close with juvenile justice, child protective services, family services, and in the school district. So in over 20 schools, we have a classroom, and kids who need our help go directly there. And we are training teachers every single year, 4,000 teachers getting trained in the model of behavioral training that we do to help them with better managed classrooms, which benefits everyone.
And so are you dealing with kids who have already maybe caused some issues, or is there like something that you're looking for preventative? I know you mentioned preventive, so is there, are you teaching teachers and others to be aware of these things and kind of guide from there? And what does that look like?
Exactly. So in addition to being in the classrooms where we are teaching, do you have kids?
I do. I have 3.
Okay. Any of them in a classroom with more than 20 kids in it?
One, I think.
So you just kind of hear a lot about class size, right? So when there's a lot of kids in a classroom, 1 or 2 that are disruptive actually ruin the experience for everybody.
They can.
And I say ruin delicately, meaning they alter the experience. That is life, that is reality. And so coping skills and all of that is certainly being learned by the students. But there's an agenda in those classrooms, and being able to be focused on that is really important. Well, Boys Town has a model, a very effective model based on research, years and years and years of research that really helps to manage those classrooms and how to manage those kids who are acting up. So by being in the classroom is great. But even more than that, sometimes the behavior that children display in classrooms is because of something else, a behavioral problem or a mental problem. So we actually have a behavioral health clinic where our doctors are helping to early diagnose ADHD and autism. Sometimes those are the behaviors that are causing the disruptions that in the community, in the world, you go call your insurance agency right now and try to get an autism test. It's 12 to 18 months before you can get your child diagnosed. That's how long the waiting period is. If you're waiting that long, that's a year, a school year and a half before you're getting your child placed in the correct classroom. We're seeing visits as quickly as 3 months through our system, through our clinic. So getting in and diagnosing early that, hey, this isn't just a bad kid. He literally needs some help,
So is this reaching out to school systems, or are you actively reaching out to independent teachers and they can follow this guideline?
Yeah.
I'm trying to
we work very
connect
closely,
everything.
closely with CCSD here because biggest bang for the buck, right? We can approach all of them. So schools that are able to or choose to have us in their classrooms, I think most of CCSD is aware of our programs. And if you aren't accessing our programs through school, certainly people can access our programs, visiting our website to learn all that we do. So we talked about kids getting some assistance while they're in the classroom. Then they're going to go home. So if your teacher has your behavior under control in the classroom, and then you go home, and there's a whole different set of rules, right? So we offer parenting classes. These wraparound services take those same skills that the child is behaving well with at school and going home and teaching the parents how to also manage that child's behavior. So going to the house where the kids are, so they're getting 24-hour consistent behavior lessons and coaching.
So that was my
counseling.
question was depending on what part of town you're in, there can be some transportation issues or some affordability issues. So you guys will actively go to people's homes and how, as a parent, say if it's just a parent, can they reach out, and where would they go to kind of find some of these resources?
Boys Town, Nevada.
Boystown.org/Nevada.
That's where you'll find us. All of our services are listing there. The LIFT program is the program that is inside of the schools, which, like I said, are in several of the schools. But parents that are needing some additional help, sometimes a parent these days isn't a traditional mother and father. It is a guardian. The person who's responsible for the child may be a grandmother who just took custody of her young grandchildren.
So out of practice, maybe. It's very
out of
different
resources,
now.
very different. Perhaps she was living in a one-bedroom and taking the bus to the grocery store to get her one-person grandma items that she needs, and now she's feeding 3, and has a bus. So who is stepping in to help that grandma? And this is a true story. This is a woman that we've helped. Overnight, found out 14, 9, and 4 years old, like young children. All of a sudden, she's the guardian, and her confidence is a little low because obviously,
that's life-changing.
Right. Her daughter was incarcerated, so she's feeling like, wow, I didn't do such a great job the first time, but she doesn't want her grandchildren to be separated. So who in our society is going to step up and help this woman become a parent and a guardian and help shape these kids?
And it's very different nowadays. I mean, I think we might be the last generation of you. There was some discipline through corporal punishment, I guess you would say.
The wooden spoon ran rapid in my house.
There was some physical motivation. And so I know that's very different now, and that's really not an effective way to parent or discipline. It just kind of makes people be reactive and a whole list of problems. So with parents who are like incarcerated, do you guys also connect with parents who are incarcerated and work with parents on skills when they come out?
Mostly, when they get out, they're able to participate in our classes as well. So across the gamut, I think what's important for everyone to realize about what Boys Town is doing here is there is a very large problem. Nevada is in a crisis when it comes to mental health. I tell this story a lot. We're so excited to have this great, we have a new football team, and we have a baseball team, and we have a great women's basketball team.
Shiny things.
And a hockey team, and we all love being winners. People come to Las Vegas to win. But then there's those of us that live here who, why are we settling to be dead last in any category? Any category.
I don't like that.
I don't like it. And I don't think many people do. And as if we want to continue to attract high quality people and good doctors and good services in industry to come to Nevada, we've got to take care of some of these problems because some people don't want to move here because of that very reason. And those of us that live here deserve it. We work hard. We're raising your family. I'm raising my family here. But if mental health doesn't touch you personally right now, you're not aware of how bad the problem is. But it eventually will. Your businesses need upcoming employees. Like, where is the next group of qualified kids coming from if they're suffering with issues that maybe you and I didn't have? And there's a lot going on.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot. And we're in a town of, I don't want to say winners and losers, but it can be transient. We have people that come here to risk it all and try to achieve, and
Right.
the house always wins, and so you have a lot of people that end up worse off when they get here because of maybe some choices they made, and that includes they bring their children out here and maybe they run into some trouble. So I know firsthand that it can be pretty intense. I've got a lot of friends in the mental health space, and people that you currently work with, are you guys taking on all the treatments and the education by yourself, or are you partnering with doctors also and kind of guiding them the way that you do things?
We have doctors on staff, and certainly back at our at headquarters back in Omaha, our national, very wide reach. We are a national organization that's been doing this a very long time, and lots of research goes into the models and the practices that we do. We partner very closely with other nonprofits in town that are doing amazing work. We partner with communities and schools and are with them in many of the same schools, partnering with them. Foster Kinship, an amazing organization that is helping kids going through the foster care system or who are displaced from their parents, and the list goes on and on and on. The collaboration world, the nonprofit world in Southern Nevada, and our collaboration is really expanding. We're doing great to take advantage of other people's expertise. It takes a lot to ask for help, Kyle. And when these folks finally get brave enough to say, hey, I want some help, we just feel it's our responsibility to, God, that was such a big step. We're going to help you with this part, but we're going to refer you to other folks that we know are doing great work for those other needs, just to try to keep people in a forward direction.
So like mental health practitioners that currently practice that maybe you're not connected to, are they able to reach out to you and maybe be a resource for, like, do you have a lot of overflow and maybe that can speed up some of those tests?
We get referrals from all walks. Pediatricians will refer to us, schools will refer to us, people will refer, insurance companies refer to us. We do accept Medicaid, which not every doctor has to and does. So sometimes folks who qualify for that will find out about us through those means. But yeah, it's just really important that Southern Nevada realizes there's a little bit of a crisis going on right now, and there's stuff you can do by
it's not
helping,
a little bit. It's up
helping
there.
Organizations that are out there all day, every day. And you asked earlier about transportation. Yeah, that's difficult. That's why our parenting classes, whether we have them online or we physically go to people's houses, we have some of our staff will be out tonight at 9 o'clock because you know what? That's when mom and dad get home.
Yeah.
That's when they get home from work. So we are going to meet you right where you are and help you to, just wrap those services all around not only the child but the family.
And so funding is always a big question when it comes to nonprofits and raising awareness. And so is it a partnership of private funding and public funding, or is there government involvement in this? Like, how do you guys function, and what do you need, and how do people get in contact?
Yeah, so development director, a.k.a. fundraiser, so that is my job. 24/7, creating awareness is always where you want to start. You always want to start with creating the awareness of who we are and what we do, and the list of services that we provide. But the second is who supports us. So you hit the nail on the head. Yes, federal funding, state funding, private funding, individual funding, all of the above. And what's been going on in our political climate this last year, there's been a lot of changes, and there's been a lot of funds that were already set aside for nonprofits that have been either stopped, canceled, or paused. But either way, they're not funneling through.
Right.
So partnering with nonprofit organizations that are just fiscally really responsible, because you got to see some of these things coming. You want your services to be sustainable. So grants really take a look at that. They say, what are you going to do with this funding, and how much of this program are you relying on us to fund? But we have a very charitable town. I think a lot of people show up. Some show up with their time, just want to help out and volunteer. Some show up with their talent, like, hey, I like to, I'm an accountant. Do you need help with your accounting services? Or I fix computer tech, computers. Can I come and help with that? So I think anybody that has a talent should really ask themselves, is this something we can do for a nonprofit to help raise awareness for them?
Well, it's really great. I saw that you guys were highlighted at the Best of Henderson Awards that
Yes.
occurred last week, and
Yeah.
I know that I think you guys were able to. Was it $1,500 that was
Right,
donated?
we
or
raised
something?
1,500, and I think the marvelous David Kelly was keeping those lines open for a while. So yes, we were recognized as the charity partner for Best of Henderson. We are in schools in Henderson and servicing families there, and have been for a really long time. In fact, we made a couple really good connections. We have an amazing campus in the northeast part of town, and our building is great, but it's a little bit old, and we need some windows. And Desert King Windows was this big old sponsor there.
Yeah, I was about to mention Jason's
Right.
a wonderful human
So
being.
I had a
and
great
he's
conversation with Jason
done
and said,
so much.
Yeah, guess what? We need you to come
Yeah.
out and take a look at some windows. And that was great. So yeah, Best of Henderson was just a great opportunity to let everybody know who we are. I think when your name is Boys Town, people envision, oh, Paula goes to work at a town where there's a bunch of boys. Well,
Right.
not the
It's
case.
a little bit different. Yeah, it's a little, I don't want to say misleading the name, but you
Right.
automatically assume something. And it's,
Right.
so I
It's,
think you're very lucky to run into David and especially Jason. Like,
Right.
He was just he was on here last week.
Oh, good.
And so
Yeah.
we had a great talk, and it's wonderful to see somebody just dive headfirst into community
Right.
and ready to help and support all these things. And I mean, you're not the only thing he's supporting.
Right.
He's immediate impact, and it was great. It was great.
And it's good for a nonprofit to know they're working with a community partner that truly does understand the work that not only we're doing, but a lot of people are doing. So next year we will be celebrating our 35th year. We are very fortunate. We will be honoring Mark Davis, owner of the Raiders. His foundation has done so much, and one of their pillars is to recognize the services that are needed in the mental health space. So next fall we'll have an opportunity to honor him, and we will start fundraising for that. All the things, selling the tables, collecting the items, all of that will be happening, has already started happening and will continue to happen. But later this year, we're going to partner with a few other organizations and host a coat drive. So I think listeners and viewers could know that if you're cleaning out those closets or the weather's changing outside, you're going to go in and see what coats you're wearing this year. If you have a few extras, reach out. We'll have all the information upcoming on our website. Happy to have any business put up a box on the front of their storefront, or have any organization say, hey, let's gather some coats and make sure that these families have some coats
And
this
it's the
winter.
perfect time for you to come out, because we'll release this, and people, it's end of the year.
Right.
You got to get your donations
That's
in.
right.
And
That's
it's,
right.
as sad as it is, sometimes sometimes that's the only way you're going to get money is end of the year.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, I got to donate something.
I think it's
So
really easy for people to go to websites and, put
It
in
is,
something,
yeah.
monthly donations, reoccurring donations. If you're really touched by the organization and the mission, serving
more
boys
involved,
and
yeah.
girls and their families in all these areas. We also have a hotline, a crisis hotline, literally stopped 4 suicides last year that were in progress right here in Nevada. So the whole mental health space, and so much information could be learned on our website, or I'm happy to talk to anybody about it. It's such important work.
What is that hotline number?
Let me tell you. I
Okay.
brought a whole bunch of information
Perfect,
for you.
because that's what I'm going to ask next.
Yeah. So, and of course, I have it written on here. You're going to have to edit this part while I look it up, because there's two, and there's a national one. And the crisis hotline is a national crisis hotline that is available to people, not just children, but caregivers, anybody who's just having that moment. Therapy is a decision and an appointment, but a crisis hotline is, hey, I'm having this moment, I'm having this thought. You hop on board right now and just gotta make that phone call and get some guidance. So really, really excited to be able to offer those services as well.
I think what you're doing is amazing, and the more I'm learning, even in this conversation, it's wow, it's kind of overwhelming that all the resources you provide. And so people looking to get involved, how can they get involved? I know we talked about services and talent.
Right.
Some people are able to offer financial support.
Right.
Where would they go to get more information? I know you mentioned the website earlier, but if you could do that again.
Sure. So boystown.org/Nevada or boystown.org will take you there. In the nonprofit world, we like to talk about these letter T's. So it always starts with your time. You could donate your time, and that's volunteering. You could donate your treasure. That's the money. You could find a way to financially donate. Your talent, like we talked about, any professional additional service that you might be able to provide. And of course, your tribe, the people. It's like you might be, gosh, Paul, I don't have a lot of time, but my wife, my partner, my brother just moved to town and is looking for something. Give us that reach, just sharing the information. Follow us on all of our social media channels. That is the easiest, quickest, freest way to do it.
I assume
You
it's just Boys Town, Nevada.
Boys
Yep,
Town,
Boys Town.
Nevada. Give us a like, give us a follow. When we post a story or something that you like, share it with your friends. When we have an ask on there, follow up, click the button and see what you can do. We have these parenting classes that are a challenge. They're a challenge for the parents to come together and, teach an old dog a new trick. Well, this is how my dad parented me, and this is how I'm going to parent my son. And we hear that a lot. So currently we are asking the community to help us out with incentives. Like if you get through week 3 of this, there is a movie package, a family event that you get to go to. So here's some tickets to the movies and some funding for concessions or just anything that a business might do. Maybe there's a pizza company out there that says, hey, we want to send pizza to that house, or we want to feed them for a day. Anything that could help families, incentivize them to stay in these programs. So that's a way that takes a little time or a little talent or a little treasure, but things like that are very helpful. And there's a lot of ways to help, but helping is the best when it feels good. So rather than saying, this is how I want you to help Kyle, what do you like to do? Like having us on here today. This is amazing, and it's immensely helpful to get reach to people that we normally wouldn't get. So whatever it is that your listeners, your viewers like to do, is there a way to include folks that might not have access to that in what you're doing it? Or could those efforts benefit a family in need?
We have a lot of talented people that have been on the show and that we're connected to. So, just this new education that we're learning today, we'll reach out, and all this information will be posted, and we'll put it online, and we'll put the direct links in. And I think you're doing a wonderful thing, and we wish you the best of luck, and we will do everything we can to support you.
Truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much for having us on.
Bye.